Hello everyone, my name is Ruth, and if you're seeing my face for the first time, welcome. Today I'll be reacting to a video by a favorite YouTuber of mine, Stephanie. So she's like a big YouTuber who is very good at storytelling, and she does this horror stories, if you will, more of true crime stories. And she's been covering this YouTuber mom or this vlogger mom who, if you will, who tortured her kids. So I'll be reacting to that. And there's no better person to unpack it for us than my girl, Stephanie. And so I'll be reacting to that. It's a 3-part series, and you guys guessed it, I'll be reacting to all 3 of it. So this is part 1. Join me and let's get into it, guys.
If you go to Utah, there's this small town called Ivins. If you ever thought to yourself, hey, I want to live on Mars, this is where you're gonna go. It's like living in the center of a giant crater on the surface of Mars. The entire town is pretty much sunken in the center. And then surrounding the town, you have these massive, hard-edged mountains. It's not green, there's no trees on them. They're like this very beautiful shade of red. They're red rock mountains. It's beautiful until you keep looking at the pictures on Google Images, because then you start getting freaked out. There's something about it that feels like beyond the mountains, there's just nothing. It's just desert. Nice. You cannot even find any shade really in Ivins, Utah. There's no trees. You go to your backyard, it's like a red canyon. You feel like a little scorpion is about to crawl out into your house. And instead of trees, they have these green balls. Like, think of like watermelons without the stripes. And they're pokey. They're cactuses just all over your lawn. That's it. It's a true desert. I don't even know if it gets that windy. Just think of a barren landscape, but it's beautiful. It looks so pure. It's like a unique kind of aesthetic that the locals love. And there's only 10,000 locals in the small town of Ivins, Utah. You go to Ivins, Utah because you want to live peacefully. You want to live quietly. And more importantly, you want to live very privately, especially if you pay for a $5 million house in Ivins, Utah. That typically means you want to be left alone. August 30th, 2023, in this very secluded, wealthy neighborhood, a 12-year-old boy crawls out the window of a $5.3 million house. He's dressed in this men's blue button-down dress shirt, like, you know, those dress shirts, but it's kind of swallowing him up. It looks like he took it from his older brother's closet. He has on a pair of shorts and a pair of socks, no shoes. His legs look quite frail. The way he walks is reminiscent of a baby giraffe that learned to walk not too long ago. He's not stumbling. It's not like he's so shaky, but it just looks like he's either injured or very uncomfortable walking. It could be the duct tape that's wrapped tightly around his ankles. It even looks like underneath the duct tape, there's some sort of plastic saran wrap underneath. And he has this long, very scorching hot walk ahead of him. He's just wearing socks. This is August 30th. No trees, no shade. You're looking at 100-degree weather. But because there's no shade, the pavement reaches about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Put that into perspective. It would be like if you took a cast iron skillet, put it on the stovetop, kept it on high heat for 5 minutes, took it off, and then put your foot directly onto it. That's what it feels like. And that is what this 12-year-old boy has just crawled out of the window to do. He has to walk in this weather with just socks to the neighbor's house. This whole place, it's not a neighborhood in the traditional sense. I mean, it is a neighborhood, but they're filled with $5 million houses. The houses are really far apart. They're almost a few blocks apart, if you will. You don't pay $5 million in Ivins, Utah, at least like a few blocks. And there's only 3 finished homes in this entire neighborhood so far, which means this little boy has 2 shots, 2 chances. And the duct tape around his ankles and wrists are not helping. The sun is probably melting the tape into his wounds. He's already dehydrated. He's been starved. Just 2 seconds out in that level of heat, he likely feels lightheaded, and just the friction from walking with socks on that type of pavement can instantly cause burns and blisters. The first house that he walks to, he quietly approaches the door and he takes a few steps towards the front. He sees the doorbell, reaches out, presses it, and he just waits. He's waiting by the front door very politely even. He doesn't bang on it immediately. I mean, I would expect him to, considering this could be life or death for him. But this 12-year-old boy just waits very patiently. He stands still for 40 seconds waiting for that door to open. He was so still that I actually thought I paused the footage. Eventually, he calmly knocks on the door and waits again.
Being a girl from Nigeria, guys, I hate the heat.
If they come back to get him, it is all over. This boy's condition is only getting worse, and it's likely that the wounds are going to get infected very soon. So he waits, and he's so still, as if like if he were to move, the homeowner would be so scared they wouldn't open the door. But again, nobody answers, which means there's only one more house that he can try, and that's if he can even make it to the house. So he starts walking, and like I said, there are 3 finished homes in this neighborhood. One home that he's running from, one where nobody's home, they didn't answer the door, and now he just has the last one, the 3rd house. He walks up and he rings the doorbell. This woman's voice, it's like an automated message, starts telling him,
"Answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now."
He just stands there for a brief second because that means there's nowhere else he can run. He has to go back to the house. I don't think he could run onto the main road. There's nobody around, and if they know that he's gotten out of the window, they're gonna find him, and it's just gonna be that much worse for him. He waits for a brief second before turning around, and you can see his shoulders slump visibly in the footage, and his head is hanging, and he starts walking away from the last home's front door. This is like almost positively the very last chance that he has at survival, and it's gone.
So he didn't leave a message, he just walked away.
No, he did not, yeah. He takes about 20 steps. He's about to fully leave the front area of the house when the door clicks open, and this old man comes out.
Yes. Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
The little boy walks a little bit closer to the neighbor, but he's keeping his distance. And the neighbor, he kind of sounds like a grumpy old man.
Well, what are they? Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
It's likely by this point, the old neighbor spots the duct tape around his wrists and ankles. And he just looks so frail, like he hasn't had a real meal in weeks. And he says,
What's going on, son? Have a seat there. Is this personal business? Have a seat.
This is the starting point to all the secrets that start coming out of what was happening in that $5 million house in Ivins, Utah. 2 children were being held captive in a giant safe room tied up with ropes. They had physical injuries that go deep down into the flesh, almost hitting the muscles and the bones. And then they would have cayenne pepper just poured into them. There's evidence of forced starvation, forced to walk around in the desert barefoot, forced to sleep outside. Authorities would later state, had it not been now, these kids might not have made it. The 2 kids that were being held captive and tormented are the kids of a famous YouTuber, a family vlogger who daily vlogged most of her life as a mother to 6 children. This is the case of Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt. I'd like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Biz Parents Foundation. They're a nonprofit organization devoted to protecting professional child performers and their rights. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we would also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's case involves some very well-known names in the mommy blogger, family blogger world, Ruby and Kevin Franke, and then their 6 children, best known by their channel name, 8 Passengers. You're gonna be using the names of the 2 eldest children, so you have Sherry, the eldest daughter, and Chad, this case, and I would recommend getting a copy, or 10, just to show support for Sherry. The book is titled The House of My Mother. It is so impactful, and I think it's a book that really makes you think and gives you pause about the world of family vlogging. She's also just a phenomenal writer, but also a very impressive source of inspiration for all. So please check that out. That's going to be in the show notes. Ruby Franke just happens to be part of that church, and she sometimes happens to use the teachings to carry out her abuse. So with that being said, this is going to be a 3-part series. Because of the renewed interest in this case with the new documentary that was released, I received a ton of requests to cover the case. And initially I was thinking, okay, I'm going to keep it on the slimmer side, considering how much coverage this case has gotten over the years. But the deeper that we kept getting into it, I mean, there's just no way to sum anything up. Even reading Sherry's book and researching this case, there's so much insight. And this case is enacting change for a lot of people. And for that reason, if you are maybe one of the few people who haven't heard much about the case or haven't gotten a deep dive, this is going to be a 3-part episode. In part 1, we're going to go through Ruby Franke's YouTube career, the signs of abuse that a lot of netizens started picking up from the beginning, the evidence that she practically uploads straight to the internet herself, and how Ruby Franke getting quote-unquote canceled leads to her becoming more abusive and more extreme.
I think that shouldn't even matter. If it should be considered by professionals or whatnot. And I don't even think it should be considered. If you've done something horrible, judgment should be passed based on who you are, the character, the person you portray yourself as. That's what I truly believe.
She would infiltrate marriages and instigate divorces. She would ruin people's lives. And the speculation is she might have a deep-rooted hatred for men. So in part 2, we're also going to go over the alleged romantic relationship between Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt. In part 3, we go through Ruby and Jodi fully just jumping into cult territory. Ruby's lengthy journals detailing day by day of the torture that she's inflicting on her own children. And what Ruby's husband, Kevin, he's like a huge point of conversation in all of this. He's the father of the 6 children. People are wondering, what was he doing during all of this? And why wasn't he charged?
Really?
Yes. So that's going to be in part 3. And with that being said, let's get started. It's called the Rabbit Stick Room. It kind of looks like a back room. It's got that like nasty dark navy carpet. There's a full fabric couch up against the wall on one side, and they've got those white circular plastic fans, and the lighting is just back rooms. It's abandoned office lighting. It's fluorescent. It makes everything look so depressing. Every single Friday, the door to the Rabbit Stick Room opens, and a bunch of teenagers walk in.
That's just how they call it?
Yeah,
Rabbit stick?
A rabbit stick.
Okay.
A bunch of teenagers walk in. They don't even know each other. These are not friends. They're not part of the same school. They're just random strangers that happen to be teenagers. They're all given a new set of clothes, and they're all just wearing similar things. Go change into these clothes and take this time to say goodbye to life as you know it. Because from now on, life is about survival. The world is changing. Life is not going to be easy anymore. Do you think you have time to sit there and ponder about social media and play video games? You don't. Now it's about staying alive. It's about finding food out in the wild. I mean, there's no choice. You have to fend for yourself, and this is your life now. All you get, every single teenager just gets a backpack. All their belongings are in this backpack. Whatever they need to survive in the Arizona wildlife, in the wilderness. If they lose something, if they lose that backpack, it's gone. Life's not fair. You don't get a replacement.
How old are they?
12 to 17. The most important supplies are a giant piece of tarp and a sleeping bag. That's where you're going to sleep from now on. You don't get shelter. You don't get a tent. The first week, they say it's a lot about processing the grief. You lost your family, you lost your friends, you lose good food. Just a warm, nice meal with a lot of carbs sounds amazing. Or even just music and books. You don't have anywhere to put a heavy book in your backpack. You got to carry this backpack around with you everywhere. You're walking like 5-10 miles a day. You're going to bring books. You're going to bring a whole trilogy set. And then the next phase hits. The teenagers start finding ways to survive, which typically means they go through a 3-day fasting period, because that's what life is out like in the wilderness. Food is not a guarantee. Neither is toilet paper or comfort or really anything. That lasts 5 to 6 weeks. And probably for every single second of it, you feel like you're not going to make it. This is the Anasazi Wilderness Therapy Camp for teenagers. It feels like doomsday. It feels like the end of the world. These teenagers are thrown into the wilderness. They're forced to fend for themselves because they don't listen to their parents at home. The camp calls the teenagers young walkers.
So
kind of creepy.
you will see a group of teenagers just walking in the desert.
They have supervisors, they have camp counselors or shadows, as they like to call them, that you can go to. I mean, you can't really go to them for anything because you're supposed to survive on your own. You just see them trekking 5-10 miles per day.
Wow.
Some of these kids were kidnapped to be here. The wilderness camp, if they feel like you're not going to come willingly, consensually, your parents can sign a little slip and they will come kidnap you in the middle of the night. Some kids said, my parents told me we were going
First of all, why are
and now I'm
12-year-olds
eating a lizard.
being sent to the wilderness, guys?
Wow. So this is
Am I crazy or
Chinese case that we
what? 12-year-olds? Do you realize how young the 12-year-old is?
type of
Sent to fend for themselves in the wilderness as a form of therapy?
They go out into the wilderness in Arizona.
Oh,
and
this is
according
gonna be
to
it's gonna be
Anasazi,
crazy,
they
guys.
live a primitive lifestyle and learn the skills and technologies of the ancient ones. Young walkers learn to cook their own meals. Food packs are replenished weekly, and they learn to build shelters to protect themselves from the elements. They may hike up to 10 miles in a day and seldom camp in the same place for more than 2 nights. If you are a teenager, 12 to 17 years old, and you struggle with any sort of behavioral challenges, this is what Anasazi lists it as: depression, anxiety, poor self-image, low self-esteem, substance abuse, internet gaming, technology addiction, learning difficulties, relational problems with family, trauma, abuse, bipolar disorder, disrespect authority, peer conflict, legal troubles, poor social skills, immaturity, lack of motivation. If you mark any one of those, you are more than welcome to join Anasazi. Well, you're not more than welcome. Your parents are more than welcome to sign you up and pay us money. There is no way not a single person listening to this does not check off at least one of those boxes. I feel like I'm a full-grown adult. I'm not even a teenager, and I check off almost all of them. It's basically a desperate cash grab targeted towards parents who don't know how to raise a teenager. And they decide the best solution in all of this is, what if we just don't raise them? What if we just send them into the wilderness for 2 months straight? One netizen says, I was forced to go cold turkey on my alcohol addiction, and I was terribly sick because of that. I wanted to self-exit, and I desperately needed help. I told the therapist that's supposed to be part of our group that I needed more time with them because I was only getting 15 minutes of therapy per week. That's part of the program. They tell you get a therapist. They told me that the therapy was the hiking I was doing. They continue. In addition, there were 2 days that my group's only water source was from leftover cow trough, just mixed with actual cow shit in the water supply. We drank it. By the end of my stay, I could barely walk. My last night, I laid down on a bunch of rocks and I couldn't sleep because the coyotes were just howling all night. It sounded like they were only a couple dozen feet away from me. I kept crying to the staff at night, telling them that I was so scared. They finally gave up and transported me to another treatment center. One review of Anasazi reads, I am begging you, do not send your teen here. This program is abusive, horrific, and sold as this amazing program that's going to straighten out your troubled teen with a strong focus on God. It's not. It's an excuse for sadistic, unqualified people to abuse your teenagers. I cannot put into words how twisted the people running and working this program are. There is nothing helpful or positive about making teens hate themselves. One journalist who went to Anasazi says they saw a 16-year-old boy lunge lightning speed at a lizard to eat because food is rationed at Anasazi. They get a week's worth of food at a time, and each day is rationed for only 2,000 calories per day for a growing teenager. Even for like a pretty sedentary lifestyle for a growing teenager, you need more than that. And
If a therapy program says
they're hiking 5-10
the way they're
going
to help you straighten up your kid is by sending them to the wilderness, don't send your kid there.
Anasazi becomes a huge topic for conversation on YouTube after
I thought that would be common sense, but apparently it's not. And this thing is expensive,
And it's
guys.
already bad
What?
enough that everyone on the internet sees comments from netizens talking about
It's
how
crazy
bad their
to me.
time
It's
was at
just crazy
Anasazi,
to
how
me.
they wanted to self-exit after coming out, how they irreparably, just absolutely obliterated their relationship with their parents after being sent to Anasazi. They're reading all of this, and this YouTuber is just happily sending her son there. Netizens are outraged, they're confused. And the YouTuber's son's name is Chad. The worst part in all of this is after 2 months in the wilderness, Chad comes back home and he's actually gained weight when he was out there.
What?
And he says on camera that he loved his experience, but a lot of netizens are confused. His conditions at home, and how are they worse than Anasazi? How did he gain 10 pounds hiking 10 miles a day in the wilderness? That doesn't make sense.
Is it still running today, the program?
Yes.
Wow.
This whole thing feels like doomsday for YouTuber Ruby Franke. The whole world is falling apart. The apocalypse is coming. Everything is dying. And it kind of all starts with Disneyland. It's interesting. There's a lot of people who really want to be good at something. And then there's a lot of people who don't really care if they're good at something as long as you think that they are good at something. They all say the same thing. So it's very hard to differentiate who is who. Like who actually wants to be good at it and who just wants to be seen to be good at it. It is pretty clear. Ruby Franke just wants to be seen as a good mom. I don't know if she had any intention to actually be a good mom. Kevin says that in their religion, they're taught the only purpose in life is to become a parent. That's the goal. That's what everyone should strive to. But if everybody gets there, then how are you special? So Ruby's new mission is to be the perfect mom. But it's not just enough for all of her family members to be like, Ruby, you're such a good mom. For her to walk into church and they say, Ruby, I don't know how you do it with 6 kids. That's not good enough. She wants strangers at the mall to tell her that she's a good mom. She wants to maximize the amount of praise that she gets. So she needs a larger audience. And that is the birth of the YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. Ruby is family vlogging. Now, side note, Kevin says the name of the channel is very symbolic. We were all in this vehicle together with our family, driving down this road called life. The first video ever uploaded is of Ruby standing around the kitchen island, and she's got 5 kids with her. She's got the eldest daughter, Sherry. Then she has the son, Chad. Then she has 2 daughters and another son. And there's a cake in front of her, because it's a gender reveal. She's about to have her 6th and final kid.
When was this? A long time ago?
Yeah, this was years ago. Like almost 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
They cut into the sponge cake and the cake is pink. They're having a baby girl. They've got 2 sons and 4 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruby says, you know, the main purpose of this channel is I just want our channel to be a ray of sunshine in a world where people just criticize each other and make each other feel bad. And we're here to show that happy families are a reality. I love coming and doing little simple things with my family because it just makes all my worries go away, just for a little bit. But it all falls apart at 2 in. Chad, the eldest son, he wakes up the youngest son. So there's 2 boys. The youngest son is probably like 10, probably like 7 years old at this point. And he's like, wake up. We're going to Disneyland. It's a surprise. You got to pack your stuff and we got to go. Get your sunglasses, get your sun hat. Don't forget your sunscreen. Chad is telling the little boy, this is the same one that was walking in the neighborhood.
The little boy?
Yes. So Chad is telling his little brother, come on, you gotta get all of your stuff. And he's so excited. He starts packing all of his things, shoving them into a suitcase. He starts hauling them like down the stairs. He's ready to go to Disney. This is gonna be a family road trip. I mean, this is probably gonna be the highlight of the whole year. And maybe it's even more convincing because the parents are YouTubers. YouTubers do crazy things all the time. But the whole thing is a prank. It's like a relatively innocent prank. Chad is goofing around. They're not going to Disneyland.
Oh, Chad is pranking the little brother.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the parents are recording this?
No.
Oh.
The parents wake up in the middle of the night to the younger brother crying because he was so excited to go to Disneyland.
I see.
And now Chad is in very big trouble. This is the start of doomsday for Ruby Franke. Almost a year later, summer of 2020, Ruby is sitting up on the floor. She is leaned up against the wall with her son, Chad, and her other daughter on her other side. So she's in the middle. She's sandwiched and just vlogging.
I'm like, you will do what I say.
when Chad just casually mentions, he just says,
my bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple of weeks ago.
and Ruby just starts cheesing. Like, she's got this big old gummy smile, and she's like,
I don't think our viewers know that.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October. They gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
and Chad goes on to explain that I woke my brother up at 2 a.m. and I told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack, and he made his bed and all neatly. He packed all of his clothes in the suitcase, and then he walked out the door and he's like all happy. He has his sunglasses on, and Chad is kind of smiling a little bit, giggling a little bit while sharing the story, because I mean, it's truly an innocent prank between siblings. And then also he's in a vlog, so I would imagine he's not like, yeah, this is why I got my bedroom taken away. I don't know. But Ruby starts yelling.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
And she's glaring at him like a little Karen. Ruby explains that's why the bedroom setup has been this way, with the younger son getting a bigger bedroom than the older son, who's a teenager, and Chad has been given a very small bedroom, but even that's been taken away. She says, quote,
but what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room.
and he just got his bedroom back, and that's because he's shown up consistently without bullying the kids. Chad also hasn't had a flip phone, smartphone, any kind of phone, and it's been over a year.
I still have no intention of returning a phone.
Then she turns the camera to her younger daughter. And we took her phone away in November, and you may never get your phone back. The younger daughter just responds, yeah, probably not. If I was to go back and redo anything in parenting, this is Ruby telling her viewers, it would be to not give the kids a phone. On both sides of her, these are teenagers. They just look like they're forced to be here. And now Ruby is taunting them like, you're never gonna get your phone back. It's just all sorts of weird. But the saddest part is, in the background, you can hear Chad saying,
And now I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
I don't have friends either. I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So, summer goal, become the best athlete I possibly can.
How do you feel about not having any friends?
Sucks, but I don't feel safe or accepted in any friend groups.
That's really vulnerable of you to say that on camera, because you don't have to film that.
No, it's true though,
and then she just skips over Chad's feelings and says, what I have seen as a parent, when you decide to take things away, you really do want your kids to have these things. And it's been so difficult to take a phone away, to take a bedroom away, to take iPads away, to take access away. It hurts me as much as it hurts my kids. Like, feeling bad, like I feel bad, which Chad called her out on that. So then what do you mean you have no intention of giving our phones back? I mean, it doesn't seem like you feel that bad about it then. And she just excuses her behavior. In this 18-minute vlog, 3 of her 6 kids express to Ruby Franke that they feel sad and upset because they have no friends. And I don't know, maybe I have too much religious trauma, but this reminds me of the Sunday school teachers that force you to open up about something you're insecure about, and then they tell you, thanks for being so vulnerable.
I mean,
and
the very first thing that should be alarming is the fact that your kids, both of them at once, and saying,
interestingly enough,
I have 0 friends, and these are not
to the point where she's
5-year-old, 6-year-old. These are almost, they're already teenagers.
Insane things come from this woman.
Should be
They
concerning.
think this is going to be the highlight of the entire vlog. They can kind of edit around this bed conversation, highlight it as the focal point. Teenage son doesn't have a bedroom for 7 months. Ruby uploads the final video, makes it live, and all hell breaks loose.
Really a difficult
The comments are coming in full speed. I feel so bad for the kid. She is her parenting is horrible. These parents are insane. Imagine insisting that your kids under 10 manage their electronics independently while you yourself literally can't put your phone away to stop filming, even when your children are clearly uncomfortable being filmed and hide from the camera. 8 passengers? More like 6 prisoners. You've got to be kidding me. Ruby Franke is a disgusting mother. I hope you die in your sleep. These are the comments. Hi, I just wanted to tell you that I hope you rot in hell. You're a disgrace to the LDS community. You should be excommunicated. You're a godless woman. And with these comments and with this video, everything starts to. This channel goes from making $1,600 a day in just ad revenue. That's not including brand partnerships. That's just people clicking on her videos. She's making close to $600,000 a year on this YouTube channel. Their daily views drop by more than 50%. And the bulk of their earnings, they come from brand partnerships, which she's pulling deals with like Clorox, Narwhal, Ruggable. This is like wholesome family vlog branding. None of them want to be associated with a mom who spends all of her energy scheming up cruel and unusual punishments for her kids. So seeing as their business is going down, Ruby and Kevin take probably the most ill-advised action that they could in this situation, which is allegedly mass delivering a bunch of cease and desist letters to creators that were talking about their parenting, like commentary channels. Listen, I don't know, cease and desist, they just light a big fire under my butt. I get so excited. Like, why do you want me to shut up? What did I say? But the worst response that Ruby has in this situation is she makes this full-length Instagram post about everything happening in 2020 with Black Lives Matter, the senseless murder of George Floyd. And she tells the world, this is without even apologizing or even addressing the bed situation with her son, Chad. She, a white woman who relates, she says she relates to George Floyd's hardships. Her condensed Instagram post reads, "My heart hurts for the murder of George Floyd. My heart hurts for being accused of abuse when my motives have always been love and real abuse actually occurs on a daily basis throughout the world." The bad part is, as much as everyone wants Ruby to feel the deepest depths of internet cancellation, technically it still impacts the entire family. Sherry, the eldest daughter, the author of the book, she says, "I think our numbers were like consistently declining and any engagement that we did have was negative." So before this, they had their fair share of haters that would nitpick, "Oh, I don't think Kevin's interested in Ruby anymore. Oh, I think this kid is a brat. I think she spoils her kids." They would have these little hate comments here and there, but it was generally seen as a positive family vlog channel. And now it's just like the floodgates to hell have opened. Chad says, "We're basically canceled. Our views just like tanked. We lost like 90% of our income."
Wow.
And a lot of netizens say they saw this whole thing coming. They comment, "I liked Ruby, but it was getting obvious that she's obsessed with making her YouTube channel work. The giveaways, the acting silly when she's never acted that way before." Other commenters are flooding her channel. "I get major narcissistic mother vibes from Ruby. She favors kids, controls food portions, what they can wear. She looks perfect on the outside, but I get major creepy vibes from her. Major unhappiness inside their home." Another one is diagnosing through the screen, which kind of problematic, but also maybe they're not wrong. I don't know, you tell me. Ruby gives me parenting traits that are similar to the queen character profile for narcissistic personality disorder. She's obsessed with attention. She loves the compliments about her looks. She loves hearing people say she's a great mother. She loves hearing people say she's a great wife, but she seems so freaking fake. I can't stand it. Ruby does not self-reflect. She decides everybody is wrong. This is cancel culture. They're trying to harm her and her reputation.
Either burn in hell, as I have told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
She brings up to the world, she starts doing these little interviews and she tells everybody, Chad has his room back. And I posted him doing like a room tour a few weeks ago and look how happy he is. Which, by the way, people start flocking to that video of him redecorating his room because he just got it back, but we didn't know that at the time. And it's under a new level of scrutiny. And they realize that his bedroom door is doorless. Like, there's no door. The door has been taken off the hinges, providing zero privacy, which just adds an entire canister of gasoline to the fire. The Frankies respond by saying, Chad chose the beanbag when he didn't have a bedroom for 7 months because he said it was the most comfortable. Not a great start to addressing the situation, but they continue. He also removed the door to his bedroom in an effort to be transparent and help regain his parents' trust.
That's crazy.
Unless Chad was caught with a Breaking Bad level meth lab in his room, which he obviously wasn't, how desperate do you have to be to try and earn your parents' trust to be this extreme? And I say that with all disrespect towards the Frankie parents and sympathy for Chad. Ruby continues, the reason that we got canceled was because I was demonstrating, as I have done from day one, what a responsible mother looks like. What is the motive for the hate being thrown at me? I'm the antidote to these kids acting out, and they know it. Understandably, everything that they're saying only makes the situation worse and worse, and it makes Ruby and Kevin look like even worse parents than the initial video, if you can even believe it. When this inevitably backfires, Ruby just stays glued to her computer, deleting negative comment after negative comment after negative comment. Kevin admits, yeah, Ruby likely started the entire family YouTube channel for money, yes, but also because, like I said, she just wants to be praised for being a great mom. He says, and when she sets her mind to something, hell and earth combined could not stop her, and she was going to make her vlog bigger and better than everybody else's. The success is actually not very immediate. In fact, Ruby's siblings, they all have their own family YouTube channels. I didn't even know they were all related. I didn't even know they existed, to be honest. But before marrying Kevin and becoming Ruby Franke, Ruby was Ruby Griffith. She's got 4 younger siblings. She's the oldest. And there's her brother, Beau. He and his wife, Emily, have a vlog channel. They're not the famous ones in the family, I guess you could say, but they have a vlog channel. And then there's Bonnie. She's married with 4 kids and vlogs pretty much every single aspect of her entire life. And then after Bonnie, in birth order, is Julie, who has 5 kids and a YouTube channel. And then Ellie is the youngest, and she has 4 kids, and they're actually one of the more successful ones. At their height, 8 Passengers was the most successful out of all the Griffith family members. And then it was Ellie and Jared. Ruby's parents have a channel called Grandma and Grandpa Griffith. So all of them.
How many followers does Ruby Franke's channel have?
2.6 at her height.
And then
Ellie and Jared had, I think, close to 2, but they had their birth video. So I think Ellie struggled with IVF and she finally was able to give birth. That birth video had like 15 million views.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they do get views. And initially, Ruby was not the one doing the best on YouTube. That is, until they upload their very first viral video, very straightforwardly titled, Baby Climbs Out of Crib. And then they just start blowing up. It's on camera 24/7. Kevin Franke is a professor at BYU, and Ruby is a stay-at-home wife, and now she's vlogging now. Kevin says, whenever I came in through that door, wherever Ruby was, the camera was. He remembers in the beginning, she would force him to vlog, and she would say into the camera, you guys are always asking us, can we hear your kids play more? Can you please sing more Christmas carols? We'd love to see your family play some Christmas music. And she's just smiling at the camera, waiting for Kevin to say something. And she's smiling, but kind of like a teacher that's telling you for the 10th time that you should not stick that eraser up your nose. And she finally angrily turns to him, I'm waiting for to share a conversation with you. I'm listening to you talk. I'm sorry. I like to hear Ruby talk. I'm cutting all of this out. Help me out here. She keeps huffing and puffing. And finally, he tries to say, I don't know where you want me to come in. Okay, start over again. I'll help. Here, I'll pick it up. Okay, Ruby, ready? So one of the traditions that we do in this family, and she's just so intense, not just about capturing all the moments, but making them absolutely perfect, even if it's fake. Nevertheless, in the beginning, it's kind of cute and fun. Everybody's having a good time. All the kids are having a good time. They're making some YouTube money. They're buying a new van. They're getting a bigger house. And they would be on the highway in their billboard of a car. It's got the 8 Passengers bumper sticker. It's like a truck, honestly. It's like a bus. I mean, you got to fit 8 of them. People would drive up on the side of the highway and start waving and freaking out because they're like, I watch you on YouTube. One comment reads, I think this family is refreshing. I enjoy it when Ruby tells stories, and I think Kevin is really attractive. Someone else comments, Kevin is an intelligent, mature, and masculine vlogger. I find him very attractive, which is exactly what I would write if I were Kevin. But I digress. Kevin would say, it's all Ruby, you know? People loved Ruby's personality and it attracted an audience quickly. Which, I mean, I guess it's fine. It's all fun and games until $85 hits the bank account. Something flips a switch in that moment. Kevin says, shortly after the first paycheck landed on our account, it was like $85. It felt amazing. And that first paycheck flipped me 180 degrees and I wanted more. The 8 Passengers LLC was born.
When Kevin said that?
Yeah.
He said, I got $85 and that I was ready to go all in.
I guess he thought this was like some little hobby his wife was doing. And then he was like, $85?
Okay. So like you can actually make money.
Yeah.
It's not a scam.
So then he made 8 Passengers LLC. Sherry, the eldest daughter, the author of the book, writes, the kids were all employees. That is how we were referred to. Employees. From then on, if they were ever to go on a family trip to vlog, they would want the kids to act like employees rather than, oh, we're just going on a family trip because now we can afford it and we're just going to vlog here and there so that people can stay in the know. Kevin says, all of a sudden, it wasn't just enough to interact with Ruby. I had to interact with the camera, which maybe someone would feel sympathy for him, but he would also, in the same vein, turn around and yell at his kids. Kevin would start scolding them. Well, Chad is acting horrible today. The whole purpose that we're here is because of our jobs, and you guys are acting like this is stupid. Basically saying, ready, set, action, like get it together. Kevin would later say, the kids started to complain about everything, like, I'm bored, we don't want to film, we're so tired of doing this. It really began to concern Ruby. She would describe it as they were losing their light. Losing their light is a wild thing to say. Ruby is both not self-aware and dramatic. Kevin, which don't get me started on Kevin. There's a lot of thoughts about this man that we will get to in part 3. But Kevin says Ruby would constantly remind him, Kevin, the camera is millions of people watching us. She really just wanted Kevin to be the perfect husband. That's how it's described. He says, she wanted me to be the even-keeled but strong patriarch of the family, but I wasn't. I was a nerd through and through. Which is kind of simply a pick-me thing to say. But when asked, did you exploit the situation? Did you exploit the kids? Kevin responds in the new Hulu documentary, absolutely I did. All of that money, all of that payment came from one reason and one reason only, my kids. And we started watching the paychecks go from like $2,000 a month to $8,000 a month to $20,000 a month, and at our peak, $100,000 or more per month. When further questioned on whether or not he felt bad about it, Kevin just responds, not at the time. I was raised with the idea of the cosmic vending machine. It's this idea that I can bargain with or do business with God. We believed that we were sharing goodness, Christianity with the whole world, and in return, God was blessing us. Sherry, the author of the book, and she's been very outspoken against family vloggers. She says, our entire schedule revolved around YouTube, and I think that's where I started to have some issues. We always had to keep the house clean. We changed our lights from this warm shade to just like a bright fluorescent white. It felt more like a set than a house. All for $85. And that's just the beginning. This is going to spiral into like millions and millions of dollars, and then they're going to hit 1 million subscribers. Even for that, Ruby is sitting in her car crying. She's in the driver's seat. The car's parked. She's tearfully telling the camera, it is so fitting to hit 1 million while I'm like trying to squeeze in all these little things that I'm gonna do to serve my family. Like, my big thing has always been that mothers are powerful, and it's not just the big things that the mothers do that make them powerful. Power comes in the little things. So thank you. But a lot of our viewers started feeling like the more Ruby grows, the less we like her. One comment reads, I like the way Ruby acted towards the kids in her older vlogs. It came across very honest, and I felt like I was watching a real mom. And now she seems like she's afraid to show her disciplining them and uses this weird baby talk. Which, side note, the baby talk is wild. Every little thing that her kids would do, she would go, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. It just did not feel genuine. Not that those words or phrases can't be genuine. It just didn't feel natural. Some are even comparing Ruby with her sisters, writing, I think Ruby really tries to be like Bonnie, her younger sister. Her personality was never as bubbly before. This, hi guys, oh my gosh, I can't wait, seems really fake now to me. And I want to add that I do think that Bonnie's true personality is bubbly, but not Ruby's. Seems forced. That's a comment. Others thought, Ruby's clearly pretending to be a great mom to make money as a family vlogger. You could just tell she hates being a mom. They comment, Ruby strikes me as the type of person who craves intellectual stimulation. With Kevin traveling so much, I think she gets restless. I get the impression that she struggles with being a stay-at-home mom much more than her sisters. She strikes me as someone who would have been very career-driven if circumstances were different. I mean, that's not to say that I don't think that she loves being home with the kids. I'm just saying. Some would just say, I like the vlogs, I like the family. But it's kind of weird watching it because the mom seems like she's just one little huff, one little wind, one little blowing out the birthday candle wind push away from just having a full-blown mental breakdown. She always seems like she's about to lose her mind.
Like super tense?
Yeah. Ruby Franke has always been kind of a doomsday prepper. There's vlogs of her showing off her massive freeze-dried food stash. Are you guys ready to be a food prepper with me? No, emergency prepper. Are you guys ready to be an emergency prepper with me?
Wait, what was that?
She's like redoing it for the vlog.
Oh, and then she posted that? Or?
No, these are in the unedited clips that were handed over to the Hulu documentary. I believe the family consented to about 1,000 hours of footage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so Ruby Franke, she is preparing for doomsday, but nothing is preparing her for the doomsday that is her entire online career just going up in flames. People are pulling up old vlogs. They're like, no, not only did she take away her son's bed. There's a vlog clip of Ruby standing in line at Chick-fil-A, and she says, this is us waiting in line to eat at Chick-fil-A. Because we're supporting marriage between man and woman. And here's the end of the line. And she shows a very long line. We support Chick-fil-A. Woohoo! One comment reads, disgusting. She was saying that was fun. It's fun fighting against people's liberties when it doesn't affect you. So this was during a boycott. The family hit a new low and they can't do anything to redeem themselves in my eyes. Wow. Eating at Chick-fil-A because marriage should be between a man and a woman. Go screw yourself, Ruby. Other comments read, they're standing in line to support marriage between a man and a woman? Has that ever been threatened in any way ever? No, they're standing in line to hate. Pure and simple as that. There's another deleted clip that has been deleted and launched into space to be forgotten, but Kevin had gone on this business trip to Japan. Ruby says in the vlog that he lost so much weight in Japan because all he was offered to eat were raw dogs and horse. To which Kevin even comes home and says that he's so happy to be home because the food is not raw anymore. Japanese cuisine has plenty of cooked dishes. If an adult is too dense to seek those out when they're hungry, I think that's more of a reflection of their survival skills or lack thereof, or just common sense. But one comment reads, he has eaten that crap food Ruby makes for so long that when he's offered real proper food, he does not even realize it. The most damning clips of Ruby, though, is of her in the car vlogging. She's wearing a bright yellow beanie. This is probably worse than the Chad bed saga, or it's like right up there. So all these other ones are coming out, and I think that people are making videos on them, but unless you're really in the Franke world, I don't know if they would have hit as many people of like, did you see what's going on? Because this is alarming. Ruby is wearing a bright yellow beanie. She holds up her phone. I just got a text message from youngest daughter's teacher, and she said that she did not pack a lunch today. And can I bring over a lunch to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and I just said,
was responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
my hope is that she will be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful.
A 5-year-old is responsible for packing her own lunch. Guys, I remember being in high school and I would have a
My hope is that she will be hungry and come home and go, oh man, painful being hungry all day. I will always make sure to have a lunch with me. The child in question that she's talking about is 5 years old. I don't even know a single 5-year-old that packs their own lunch. I was in high school and my mom was helping me pack lunches. The clip was a huge point of contention along with the Chad being bedless. I mean, there's something about these moms not giving their kids food, proper nutrition, and beds.
Literally say, okay, there's snacks at the back of the car for you if you want something to eat while we're on our way home, or maybe she's going to brunch somewhere. What do you mean? She says, I hope nobody gives her food so she stays hungry. A 5-year-old. What?
Contention along with the Chad being bedless. I mean, there's something about these moms not giving their kids food, proper nutrition, and beds. Like, it's a prerequisite before you get put in jail. Ash Trevino needs to get advised to get her kids a bed. Regardless, I have never ever heard of a kid being responsible for packing
a lunch.
And like, how vicious do you have to be to state out loud?
Exactly.
You hope your child starves and nobody helps them. Kevin and Ruby try to justify what happened, saying
guys, this is whew. I had to just cut. It's a 2-hour-long video, and you need to watch it for yourself. I'll probably link the video down below because you guys, you need to see it. Basically, it's crazy. It's really crazy how this. I think she thinks herself as being a top disciplinarian, but she's just vicious. If you ask if you're saying a 5-year-old should have to pack her lunch herself, and she obviously cannot do that, so she goes to school without food, and then you go as far as to say you hope nobody even gives her food in school. And this is your daughter, this is your kid. This isn't discipline. That's not how you raise children. That's not how you raise... Yo, guys. Man, anyways, this is it for this episode. You guys need to watch it, the whole thing yourself. It's a whole lot to unpack. Anyways, I'll be jumping on the second episode soon as Stephanie drops it, and I hope I'll see you guys there. Please like, subscribe, share if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you so much.